The XFL plans to kick off this February, and I could not be more excited for it. If you are a longtime viewer, you would know that this channel actually started covering the XFL and previewing all the teams. So I thought it was time to go back to my roots and take a look at the 15 quarterbacks that were assigned to the 8 XFL teams. Some are some familiar names and faces, while others are making their spring league debuts. If you want me to make more XFL content, make sure to leave a comment letting me know which quarterback you are most excited to watch, and leave a like on this video. I have so much fun making these videos, and I hope to make it to a few Defender games this February. The first quarterback I want to talk about is Kyle Sloter of the Arlington Renegades. Sloter was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and attended Mount Pisgah Christian School, breaking every school record, accounting for 9,000 yards and 87 touchdowns. The former two-star recruit earned scholarship offers from Tulane and Southern Miss and committed to the Golden Eagles before transferring to Northern Colorado when he was informed he was going to be losing his scholarship. While at Northern Colorado, he threw for 2,656 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He went undrafted and has spent time with the Denver Broncos, Minnesota Vikings on 2 separate occasions, Arizona Cardinals, Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, and Las Vegas Raiders over the past 5 seasons. He most recently played for the New Orleans Breakers of the USFL, throwing for the second most passing yards in the league with 1,798 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Drew Plitt will look to battle Kyle Sloter for the starting job with the Arlington Renegades. The former 3-star recruit is from Loveland, Ohio, and committed to Ball State over Bowling Green and Eastern Michigan coming out of high school in 2016. During the 2019 season, he threw for 2,918 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, and followed that up with back-to-back 2,000-yard passing seasons. He finished his collegiate career throwing for 9,061 yards, 68 touchdowns, and 30 interceptions. During his last season in college, he earned second-team All-MAC honors and spent time with the Cincinnati Bengals before being waived before the season. Eric Dungey is the only quarterback assigned to the DC Defenders at the time of recording. Dungey is a former 3-star recruit from Lake Oswego, Oregon, and chose to commit to Syracuse coming out of high school. He finished his Orange career with 9,340 yards passing and 58 touchdowns, and was named 3rd-team All-ACC in 2018. He also rushed for 1,993 yards and 38 touchdowns at Syracuse, despite battling injuries in each of his first 3 seasons. Dungey has spent time with the New York Giants, Cleveland Browns, Dallas Renegade, and Cincinnati Bengals over the past few years, but has yet to appear in a professional football game. Keep an eye on the Defenders, who may look to add a big name to their roster with the open quarterback slot. Brandon Silver will be battling for the starting quarterback position for the Houston Roughneck. Silver was viewed as an under-the-radar prospect coming out of Gulf Shore High School, choosing Troy but also receiving interest from Alabama, Florida State, and Mississippi State. He set an NCAA record for the highest completion percentage by a freshman in 2014. After 2 losing seasons, in 2016 Silver led Troy to a 10-3 record and a bowl win over Ohio, following that up with another winning season. Troy finished as the Sun Belt co-champions and won their bowl game over North Texas. Silvers finished his collegiate career throwing for 10,677 yards, 71 touchdowns, and 29 interceptions, while also rushing for 16 touchdowns on the ground. He has since spent time with the Memphis Express of the AAF, the New York Jets, and the Seattle Dragon of the XFL. He has thrown 10 touchdown passes over 9 games, spanning the AAF and XFL. He also spent time with the Spring League, throwing for 685 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 1 interception for the Conquerors. I've already done a detailed video on Caleb Ellaby, so make sure to check that out. Ellaby will be battling Silver for the starting quarterback job with the Roughneck. The former Pattonville High School product was a 3-star recruit coming out of the 2018 recruiting class and chose Western Michigan over the likes of Illinois and Arkansas State. Ellaby took over as the full-time starter at Western Michigan in 2020 and threw for 1,715 yards in 6 games, finishing with an 18-2 touchdown to interception ratio. He built on that success in 2021, this time throwing for 3,277 yards and 26 touchdown passes, which led to him earning second-team All-MAC honors. At one point, Ellaby was viewed as a possible first-round pick who would go undrafted during the 2022 NFL Draft. Quinton Dormady will be playing for the Orlando Guardians and was a journeyman throughout his college career. Dormady was a 4-star recruit coming out of Bourne, Texas, and chose to commit to Tennessee over the likes of Alabama, Kentucky, and Oklahoma State. After 3 seasons in Knoxville, Dormady decided to transfer closer to home, to Houston, but would later transfer to Central Michigan. While at Central Michigan, he played in 10 games, throwing for 2,312 yards and 14 touchdowns, during the 2019 season. He finished his college career throwing for 3,602 yards and 21 touchdowns. He spent time with the Montreal Alouettes in 2021, but did not dress. DeAndre Francois will compete with Dormady for the starting spot down in Orlando. Francois was a 4-star recruit coming out of IMG Academy in 2015 and chose to attend Florida State. He made a name for himself during his freshman year, throwing for 3,350 yards and 20 touchdown passes and rushing for 5 more touchdowns on the ground. He would be named ACC Rookie of the Year and looked primed to have another great season in 2017, but would tear his ACL in the season opener against Alabama. He threw for 2,731 yards and 15 touchdown passes in his final season with the Seminoles in 2018 and spent his final season in college at Hampton throwing for 2,522 yards and 26 touchdowns. He has since spent time with the fan-controlled football league with the Glacier Boys in 2021 and Bored Ape FC in 2022, while also spending time with the Blues in the Spring League. Anthony Rousseau will be one of the 2 quarterbacks playing for the San Antonio Brahmas and is a former 3-star recruit out of Warminster, Pennsylvania from the class of 2016. Rousseau started his collegiate career at Temple, winning the starting job in 2018, where he led the Owls to a 7-3 record behind his 2,563 passing yards and 14 touchdowns. In 2019, he built on his success from the previous season, throwing for 2,861 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He started off the 2020 season strong, throwing for 868 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions in 3 games before getting injured. In his absence, the Temple offense fell apart. He would then transfer to Michigan State as a graduate transfer, but lost the starting job to Peyton Thorne. Juwan Pass will compete with Rousseau for the starting quarterback job for San Antonio and was one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks coming out of high school. Pass played high school football at Carver in Columbus, Georgia, and was a 4-star recruit from the class of 2016, choosing Louisville over the likes of Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State. Pass's best season came in 2018 when he played in 11 games, throwing for 1,960 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He finished his Louisville career throwing for 2,545 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. And after the season, he chose to transfer to Prairie View A&M for the 2021 season. In his 1 season with Prairie View A&M, he passed for 2,626 yards and 16 touchdowns. Ben DiNucci will be playing for the Seattle Sea Dragons and is a former 3-star recruit from the class of 2015 out of Gibsonia, Pennsylvania. DiNucci started his collegiate career at Pitt. He took over the starting quarterback job for Max Brown in 2017 when he suffered a season-ending knee injury. DiNucci would eventually lose the starting job to Kenny Pickett, decided to transfer to James Madison. He led James Madison to the FCS championship game in 2019, losing to North Dakota State, and finished that season throwing for 3,441 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, while also rushing for 569 yards and for 7 more touchdowns on the ground. DiNucci finished his collegiate career throwing for 6,823 yards and 51 touchdowns. He was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in the 7th round of the 2020 NFL Draft and has made 1 start and appeared in 3 games with them. Steven Montez was assigned to the Seattle Sea Dragons and is originally from El Paso, Texas, playing for Del Valle High School. As a member of the 2015 recruiting class, Montez was a 3-star recruit choosing to commit to Colorado. He took over the starting quarterback job in 2017 after getting time due to an injury to the starting quarterback in 2016. In 4 seasons at Colorado, Montez threw for 9,710 yards, 63 touchdowns, and 33 interceptions, while also rushing for 11 touchdowns on the ground. He would go undrafted during the 2020 NFL Draft and has since spent time with the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. A.J. McCarron may be the most recognizable name of all the quarterbacks playing in the XFL as of now. McCarron was a 4-star recruit during the 2009 recruiting cycle, coming out of Mobile, Alabama. McCarron would go on to have a fantastic career at Alabama, throwing for 9,019 yards and for 77 touchdowns, while leading the Crimson Tide to national titles in both 2011 and 2012. McCarron was a first-team All-American as a senior at Alabama in 2013, while winning the Maxwell Award, Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, and Kellen Moore Award. He would be taken by the Cincinnati Bengals in the 5th round of the 2014 NFL Draft. McCarron has played 8 seasons in the NFL, mainly serving as a backup for the Bengals, Bills, Raiders, Texans, and Falcons, but has made 4 career regular season starts, as well as the 2015 AFC wildcard game. He has 1,173 career passing yards and 6 touchdowns. Ryan Willis will also be playing for the St. Louis Battlehawks and is from Mission, Kansas. Coming out of high school, Willis was a 3-star recruit committing to Kansas over Kansas State. He passed for 1,719 yards along with 9 touchdowns in his freshman season with the Jayhawks, starting his final 8 games of the season. He started 7 games in 2016 and did not play well and decided to transfer to Virginia Tech. He walked on at Tech and sat out the 2017 season due to the NCAA transfer rules. In 2018, he led Virginia Tech to an upset win over number 22 Duke, throwing for 332 yards and 3 touchdowns. He finished the season throwing for 2,716 yards, 24 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, while also rushing for 354 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. He would go on to become the MVP of the Spring League, leading the linemen to the Mega Bowl in 2021, and spend time with the Chicago Bears as well. Jalen McClendon will be one of the quarterbacks for the Vegas Vipers and is a former 4-star recruit from the class of 2014. Coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, McClendon chose to commit to NC State over the likes of Florida State, North Carolina, and Tennessee. He would mainly serve as a backup quarterback at NC State behind Jacoby Brissett and Ryan Finley before transferring to Baylor after graduating from NC State in 2017. He would lose the starting quarterback job to Charlie Brewer and finished his college career throwing for 977 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He has since spent time with the Baltimore Ravens, Washington Commanders, and the Los Angeles Wildcats of the XFL. Luis Perez will be playing for the Vegas Vipers, and if you have been around my channel in the past, you know I love his story. Make sure to check out my video I did on him a while back in the description below. Perez was actually a top-rated bowler and planned to pursue that in college. He actually never played varsity football. When he got to Southwestern College, a community college, he had no high school film or experience, but walked on as the quarterback. He would be 9th on the depth chart, but eventually became the starter after injuries and transfers. He would go on to play at Texas A&M Commerce, where he won the Harlan Hill Award trophy, which goes to the best player at the Division II level, and led them to the national title. He finished his 2 seasons at Commerce throwing for 8,327 yards, 78 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. He has since spent time in 5 different professional leagues. He had 1,460 yards and 5 touchdown passes to 6 interceptions in the AAF, 418 passing yards and 3 touchdown passes in 3 XFL games, and 1,200 yards with 9 touchdown passes and 1 interception, completing 72.1% of his passes in the USFL this spring. He's also spent time with the Los Angeles Rams, Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions, and Jousters of the Spring League. Those are the 15 quarterbacks currently assigned to the XFL teams. Which player are you most excited to watch, and is there a player you hope they decide to sign to the league? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe for more college football content. Thank you so much for watching. I could not be more thankful for y'all. You guys make this all possible for me. And as always, remember to embrace the grind.